welcome to Casa Mexico, your casa. Miguel Corsa in Mexico. We are very, very glad to have all of you here for this presentation for Lily City and guests. So, before I start the formal program, I just want to say that I met Lily City probably, I don't know how many, 6 years ago.
7 years,
7
maybe?
years around. First, I received somebody told me, see, we're for collaborate with Casa Mexico, and since I saw the curriculum, I was very impressed. And the first conversation that we had was about the work that she was in Mexico, and part of this work with the project ABA, which is particularly more today. But as the time has evolved, and we have the presentation, I think, year ago of the book here in English, but
In
Spanish, and now she's converted this project to English. I think it's a great accomplishment. I think the work that she's doing for many years is very relevant today because obviously we know that we are in an area of digital transformation, technology, robotization of nature, many amazing things that are happening in the world. But I think having sources is very, very relevant because with balance, whatever the robotics are happening right now, artificial intelligence, but I think always the human touch is going to be in the future. So I think we're extraordinary events, I love, I hear a leader in the community talking about that it's arts, culture, and technology, right? Not just technology, but culture. So I think it's together. I think we have a great opportunity. So I think the work that Lily is doing is very relevant. I congratulate for the launching of the book in English and Spanish, of course. I had the opportunity to see the Lily website, the new website, and it's amazing. I really congratulate you for the work you are doing.
Thank you, Miguel.
And we have the Lily.
Sigie.com.
And I think you are going to be very impressed with the hard work. And I want to welcome also presents today of Geraldine and Lisa. Thank you for being here. I think we are, as a manager, as a persons, and we're going to have a great conversation. And that I want to acknowledge that we are in this territory, and I'm going to work with that. So instead of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live work at the traditional territories of the Confederacy, Sigie, and the same nations and accommodations. And all that we are part, including us, part of this region, 337 region of South Alberta. And I'm going to introduce Lily, and Lily is going to introduce our guest here. Lily Sigie is a Mexican performing artist and action developer. She has a Bachelor in Arts in Performing Arts and a Master's degree in Promotion and Cultural Projects. She has over 20 years of experience in the performing arts and as an actress, arts educator, theater producer, and arts manager. In 2017, she arrived in Calgary, and by 2018, she co-founded the Hispanic Association of Professional Artists. Since then, she got part of the different cultural project with the artistic community itself. In 2023, she got her first art development award from Calgary Arts Development, translated her book, Development of Soft Skills Through Art, Abaco case study, published in 2015.
Thank you, Miguel. So, it's okay, my audio? Yeah, or okay. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here this time. Here and online. I'm excited to be in the company of many of who know my career as an artist, an arts manager, and those who are interested in the subject of this book. First, I want to thank first to God, first to my husband that is here, for the patience he has with me. And also, I want to thank Calgary Arts Development for the support they gave me in 2023 with a microgrant to carry out this project. Without this project, none of this would be possible. I would also like to thank my two readers. Today they are here, Alisa Sayan and Geraldine Einstein, who enthusiastically agreed to be the first readers of this translation and will give us their comments regarding the wordplay. Also, I want to thank Casa Mexico Foundation and Esther Cortines, who have supported me since my beginnings in Calgary in 2017 and given me space to promote the different basic projects I have come with and I have carried out here. I also thank Diseño Marketing and Mauricio. Thank you guys for all your support. You gave me all the technical support, and so this event can be broadcasted online and here. So I want to briefly explain what inspired me to write this book. This work was my master's thesis in 2013. This study is about the results of a cultural program that began in 2008 within an accounting and administration school at the Autonomous University of Querétaro, a public university in the state of Querétaro in Mexico, where I am from. My job there was a coordinator of cultural activities and cultural promotion. I started working at Abaco in 2010, and in 2011 I started my master's degree in development and promotion of cultural projects at the Autonomous University of Coahuila, online. And it was online, and those something very innovative and different at those times. In 2013, I decided to write my thesis on a cultural program where I had already worked and developed as a fish out of water, asking myself, those Abaco projects develop soft skills it claims to develop, but they say they develop, or it's just like theory. It was from there that I began my work. After presenting my thesis with excellent reviews, I proposed to the faculty to publish it to give more support to the program and leave some legacy to the Faculty of Accounting and Administration, FCA, as a couple of generations had taken it, demonstrating that they had developed the skills that the program focuses on. 2015, I published the book in Spanish and promoted it in different faculties and universities. However, when I migrated in 2016, I put aside to dedicate myself to what we all know, what is great, and to find ourselves in reality and starting all over again. So creating experiences and doing networks. Sorry, I'm going to drink a little bit of water. So, after that pause I had, in October 2022, after having already co-founded a nonprofit called Hispanic Arts, and with some experience with in some way, in recognition as an artist and arts manager in Cali, Miguel Cortines invited me to present the book as part of panel Latin American entrepreneurial women. So I accepted this invitation. During those times, while I was working in Arts Commons, I invited Alexandrian, Arts Commons CEO, to attend this presentation. He speaks Spanish. And a few months earlier, I had given him a copy of my book to read it. At the end of this presentation, the audience was very interested in the program and its results, and many agreed to replicate this program in Calgary. Likewise, Alex approached me and told me that I should think about translating it into English so that more people and institutions could know about the case and be able to replicate it in this city. After the audience reaction, Alex's encouragement, and the need I find in Calgary for a similar program between higher education institutions and young adults, I decided in 2023 to apply for an artist microgrant to Calgary Arts Development, translate my book, and also do my branding, logo, and website. So you can also find my website, and the book is over there. During the translation, the translator, Marisol Rios, that I hope she is connected, and I encountered many terms that are very different in English or are used to say other things. The same goes for acronyms and even professional titles that are less common in English than in Spanish to say. For example, we faced, I mentioned in Spanish, terminology. Now, we will listen to what they have to say about it. However, I would like to end my participation by inviting everyone interested in education, teachers, directors, artists, parents, to read the book, either in Spanish or in English, so that they can realize that it is essential to focus the curricula, especially the university one, focused on comprehensive education. Sometimes we need to know the results of something new to take the first step, and this book captures the positive results that art provides when used as a tool to develop soft skills that can be found in any discipline. And what is next? I would like to promote this book, and especially this successful case study within my new city, here, my home, Calgary. I want universities and all those involved in higher education or professional development to read this book and help them replicate it within their ecosystem and community. And who knows, maybe I could be doing another research in some more years, but now within young adults here in Calgary. I invite you to be a shield with me and to believe that art can transform realities in everyone who lets the arts surprise them. And now I will give the mic to Alisa Sarian, who is joining us online, you can see, and will share her comments about how this work can be an excellent example to follow or not for the higher education institutions in our city. I will introduce Alisa. Alisa Sarian taught theater arts in the New York City public schools for 14 years before becoming Title Design's lead curriculum specialist. In addition to facilitating community engagement and facilitation workshops, developing resources, and coaching youth program designers, Alisa has experience as a K-12 theater instructor and working with the NYC Department of Education, developing assessments, designing curricula, and facilitating professional development, Disney Theatrical Group, and Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. Since relocating to Calgary in 2020, Alisa has collaborated with the Calgary Board of Education, Calgary Separate School District, Storybook Theater, Theater Calgary, and more. Additionally, she has been a faculty member at New York University and Hunter and Manhattanville College. She holds a BS in Teaching Theater Arts from Appalachian State University and MA in Educational Theater from NYU and a certificate in Drama in Education from Trinity College, Dublin. Thank you, Alisa, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully the sound is coming through. I cannot see you all, so it's like I'm giving a webinar. I am zooming in today from Vancouver. I am attending a national youth theater conference, and I'm adjudicating performances and leading workshops and interviewing teachers on what they do to teach theater in their classrooms. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, but I'm pleased to get to be a part of this conversation and hear a little bit behind Lily's writing, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Geraldine has to say as well. You heard a bit in my bio that I have a wide range of experience in education, and I brought all of that with me. So I prepared a few notes based on what I was reading, and I'll share a little bit with you my takeaways and where I found some overlaps between Lily's work and my work and the work that we should all be doing in arts education. Because arts education isn't about training artists. The real heart of arts education is developing good humans. And why the arts are so valuable is that the skills you build when practicing the arts are the skills that make you a decent, kind, wonderful, empathetic human being. And that's really why we in arts education do what we do. Sure, it would be great to have more sculptors and photographers and dancers, but that's not really behind when we teach sixth grade visual art. We're not expecting them to all be hanging in museums. And so this is the premise of Lily's work and her investigation into developing soft skills through art. So I'm coming at this from a lens of arts education, theater artistry, social impact strategy, curriculum design, and programming. And there are a number of points of overlap and relevance that I found as I was reading that I pulled out and highlighted. In particular, she references the work of Howard Gardner and multiple intelligences. And while this theory is not new, and if you are not familiar with the theory of multiple intelligences, it is basically that not everybody learns the same way. We process information very differently. And while we, I think, intrinsically know these things, we often don't plan for that in mind. And as educators and managers and supervisors and business leaders and whoever else may be in the room, we really want to keep in mind that everybody learns and thinks and processes differently. And that type of work aligns beautifully with my classroom experience as well as the professional development that I do all the time. I'm still touting the the value of multiple intelligences as a starting point for offering access and accessibility to a wide range of student learners and adults, for that matter. How many meetings do you sit through where you think, man, if only this was presented in a different way? So there's broad applications to that beyond just the theater or visual art or music classroom. Centering the art, no matter what we're doing and what content we're teaching, centering art really does develop innovative and creative problem solving. It fosters higher order thinking. It supports empathy and perspective taking. These are not just social emotional learning skills that are being really focused on right now in a post-pandemic world, but these are also life skills that you need regardless of your role and sector. What limits schools, I think, at all levels, not just higher education, but throughout, is this idea that art is about product. It's about the painting, the photography, the sculpture. It's about the performance you're putting on, as opposed to the emphasis on the process. And as Lily mentions in the book, the idea of cultural activity being a single artistic event. And if we can break that down and we can help people understand that the artistic event is secondary to the process of engaging with the arts, I think we can start combating those preconceived notions of what it means to make art and what it means to learn about art and take art classes, and how we define what it means to be an artist. Because in working with teachers, in particular with my focus on arts integration, which is very much along the lines of what Lily's talking about, is this idea that the arts can improve student learning across various subject areas. And in being able to do that, we're able to say, oh, you didn't realize that arts could look like this. You didn't know. And so many teachers of other subjects say, well, I can't teach the arts because I'm not an artist. And so helping them learn what they don't already know and helping them see what's possible is really, I think, very much the heart of what Lily's talking about here and what this project was really demonstrating. So it sounded like there was quite a bit of pushback around mandating this type of creative learning. And I have friends who are teaching in higher education and teach general education students in classes like Cultivating Creativity or Introduction to Theater, where they're getting a basic survey of what's possible. And they're seeing that theater isn't just musicals on Broadway. Because you don't know what you don't know, and you can't access that information unless there's somebody there to share it with you. So mandating this creative coursework and these arts classes as part of the program of study for colleges, universities, allows them to start building these in-demand right brain skills, or as Lily describes, soft skills. But I will be honest in that I don't love that term. I find that the term soft skills undermines the work we're doing. It makes it feel like, yeah, but they're just soft skills. They don't matter. And that's obviously not what we're saying. And that's not why you're all together in this room. And I'm here talking to my computer in Vancouver. That we're looking to build a creative culture. And that is what med schools are seeking. That is what accountancy firms are seeking. That's what you're seeing across non-arts sectors and professions, is that creative thinking is what's setting candidates apart. And that allows them to imagine unconventional solutions. It allows them and provides them the ability to collaborate and work as a team. And these are really in-demand skills that can be acquired through arts practice. And so it's this argument that can really be used to push against naysayers or the type of skepticism that Abaco faced among the faculty in the School of Accountants and administrators who said, this isn't relevant to me, or students who were being forced to take a class and said, I don't need this. How do you work with teachers and educators to provide a value proposition and say, here's why you need it. Let's be transparent about this. We are not trying to turn you into an artist. We are trying to help build X, Y, and Z. And here's how we're going to go about doing that. And I think that's what's articulated in this book, and is easily replicable. An educational institution's responsibility is to the whole person. It's not to just teach them how to go and become a researcher. It's not to go and become a CPA, and so on. And so this type of work and this practice is really giving space for that. Lily references students who developed skills that they thought they didn't have. And I found this really fascinating, the phrasing of that. It's not that they developed skills they didn't have. They just thought they didn't. And that idea of building confidence and raising awareness and offering programming and coursework that helps these young people realize their full potential and realize that they actually can do those things, but no one's ever asked it of them. Or they've allowed them to say, no, thank you, I'm not a performer. No, thank you, I'm not an artist. It really helps create this whole person that universities and other educational institutions are responsible for. So to close, I would just say that despite any sort of pushback or protestations from a red tape bureaucratic organization saying that's not how we do it, we do X, Y, and Z, and we don't have room for this, it's worth continuing to push. It's worth continuing to say arts class is non-negotiable because it does, as Lily describes, provide a comprehensive education. And that is what universities are striving to do. So it's continues to be something worth fighting for. Thank you.
Elisa, I will ask you to keep recording, just in case you participate again in an answer to the question. Thank you. So now it's turn of Geraldine. I'm going to introduce her. Geraldine Einstein will share her comments on how this research can be helpful to integrate arts, culture, and creativity into other areas of unlearning based on her own research and experience as cultural manager in YYC. She was born in the Netherlands, grew up on the ancestral homelands of the Anishinaabe peoples in southern Ontario, and for the last 17 years has been living in the Treaty 7 territory. Her education and work have been focused on arts and cultural management in grassroots and non-profit arts organizations. Currently, Geraldine is an artist, consultant, and facilitator working towards art for social change within and outside of the arts sector. Thank you, Geraldine.
Thank you. I'm just going to check that you can hear me, or should I be louder? I have this too. Should I do both?
Please.
Both? Okay. Okay. I'm double mic'd. That's good because I have a quiet voice. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming this evening. It's so great to see you. And if anybody is listening online, hello as well to you. And hello, Alicia. And so it has been such a pleasure to read Lily's book, Development of Soft Skills Through Art, the Abaco Case Study. And I'm excited to continue talking about it from my perspective. So as Lily mentioned, I've been asked to share how this research can be helpful. Do you need to do a mic check? Okay. So hopefully that's better. Yeah. So as Lily mentioned, I've been asked to share how this research can be helpful in integrating arts, culture, creativity in other areas of learning, as well as unlearning, based on my own research and experience as as an arts professional in Calgary. So to do that, I would like to continue your introduction. I am Geraldine Eiselstein. My pronouns are she, her, and I was born in the Netherlands, which is the land of my ancestors. And I've been living in the Treaty 7 territory for 17 years, or 11 years here in Mauritius, which is the Blackfoot name for Calgary, where the Bow and the Elbow rivers meet. When I arrived in Calgary 11 years ago, I attended a workshop symposium called Making Treaty 7 with the late Narcissus Blood and Michael Green, who explored arts, culture, and storytelling with the question, what does it mean to be treaty people? I had never heard this question before, and I had never thought about the treaties before. But through this Making Treaty 7 symposium, which has now become a nonprofit organization, I learned about treaties, and I learned about the Blackfoot Crossing Historical Park as the location where representatives of the Canadian government, as well as the British Crown, signed Treaty 7 on September 22nd in 1877 with the Niitsitapi, including the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, as well as the Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. The experience of attending the Making Treaty Symposium and going to Blackfoot Crossing Historical Park completely reframed my experience of living in Treaty 7. And it has shown me again the power of creativity, culture and art, land, people, and storytelling to shift the imagination of who we are on this land. So I share all of this to acknowledge the land that I am on and where I came from, the people who have stewarded this land forever, the stories, the context, and the responsibilities that I have come into as a treaty person, as well as the unlearning and learning that artists have provided me. And all of this, I believe, connects to the book and this evening's presentation. So a few years after arriving in Calgary, I met Lily in 2017, I believe, who had also recently arrived in Calgary. And I remember Lily telling me about her master's program in Mexico and this book that she had written. And I'm very happy I can read it in English now, but I also really wish I could read it in Spanish. And I looked through it when I arrived. I was like, maybe I can figure out, because I've read the English version, but I didn't understand until reading it why Lily and I have connected so well over these years, but it all makes sense now. When I was leading the design and development of professional development programs for arts managers and leaders at different stages of their career, which is how I met Lily, I integrated the arts into them. I'm just gonna get some water. So in one program, I merged a typical business case study with the idea of a play with speaking parts. Some of you have taken that. This was a format that new and emerging artists and arts managers could identify with because many of them were artists, and it helped with learning. In another program, I invited both business and arts faculty to lead sessions on arts management, and I also invited participants to draw from their artistic disciplines when they presented their final projects. So they're using their artistic discipline in a different format. And in another program, I invited artists as faculty to speak about the concept of leadership and how their artistic practice informs how they show up as leaders in the community. And I think we need more of that. So I was integrating the arts and artists in different ways into professional development training of arts management and arts leadership, not to develop skills in an artistic discipline, but as a way to translate information and develop soft skills, or whatever we want to call them, through the arts. Now, as an independent artist and facilitator, I integrate the arts into a way of understanding ourselves, to process with our bodies the challenging colonial structures and systems we exist in, and to provide creative opening towards hope for change. After reading Lily's book, I see that what I'm doing is aligned with the research work that she did for this book. And so I know firsthand that developing skills through the arts can have an amazing impact on individuals and community. So that's just some background. Now I'm going to talk about the book. Lily begins the book with a statement: art is a good means to develop soft skills such as teamwork, creativity, communication, and leadership, and goes on to explain how this can happen in higher education with the example of the Abaco case study. Here are a few highlights from the book for me personally. In this case study, Lily introduces the economist and politician Jacques Delors, who wrote The Four Pillars of Education in 1989, as well as the philosopher and sociologist Edgar Morin, who wrote 7 Complex Lessons in Education of the Future in 1999. I very much enjoyed learning about them and their understanding of education, and how Lily connected their ideas of education with arts and humanity. With this idea that education through art can help us as human beings to embrace our identity, our personal identity, to know who we are, to know our autonomy, and to know our tradition, while also being in community with the freedom and autonomy of others to also know themselves. This is exactly what I experienced in the Making Treaty 7 workshop symposium, and what I continue to invite in my facilitation work. So I was very excited to see that. What I also appreciated in Lily's book, and Elisa mentioned this too, is that so often we think of knowledge as what we know in our minds. But the book repeatedly connects other aspects of knowing. Knowing through tradition, knowing through and with the earth, knowing through each other and relationships, knowing through the physical body, and knowing through culture, which can all be done through the arts, to develop, as Lily writes, into fully formed individuals. Throughout the book, Lily gives examples of how students in higher education do not have skills that enable them to interact with the social and cultural world around them. Students may be brilliant academically, but lacking this interaction is, as Lily describes it, detrimental to the personal, social, and business affairs. Here's a quote from Lily. As has been mentioned throughout this book, it is evident that universities need to commit themselves to creating environments that foster self-knowledge, coexistence, and global existence as a means to generate innovative knowledge. And we can see in our current world, and Miguel mentioned this too, that we desperately need this innovation. Lily also points out that while we know that art can engage our innovation, creativity, sensitivity, critical thinking, reflection, openness to uncertainty, the ability to make connections locally and globally, and become agents of change, art is most often treated as entertainment, and there's no connection to education. So how does art through education support the development of soft skills? Lily shares that the Abaco program, which stands for Arts-Based Incompetencies, was created not to train students to become artists at the Autonomous University of Querétaro, but to develop their skills in communication, leadership, teamwork, and creativity, because the university administration didn't feel they could develop these skills in other subjects of the curricula, which is really interesting to me. To paraphrase Lily, if students don't know how to be critical thinkers, don't know how to provide and receive feedback, are only concerned about their economic well-being, and don't know the value of teamwork, this will cost the students and society greatly. And I would add that it is costing the earth and all living beings greatly. So what were the results of the BACO program? The students were challenged by and learned to present their work before an audience. They learned teamworking skills. They learned to manage their time with other school commitments. They became more aware of their commitments towards other communities. They became more aware when communicating and interacting with others. They saw that creativity was part of self-expression, which makes me really excited. And they developed empathy for each other. In conclusion, I want to recognize the value of developing and integrating the arts, but also, as has been mentioned, that it can be so challenging to receive the recognition that it deserves. As is shared in the book, we are rushed for time. We don't understand that arts can develop skills. We're skeptical. We excuse ourselves to do other work. And it's hard to quantify the data about the impact of arts in developing soft skills. But this is exactly what this book provides. And I agree with Lily that the world actually needs these art skills to navigate the future. Now in my work as an artist, facilitator, and consultant, I see the opportunity for the arts to support systems change work within and outside of the nonprofit arts and culture sector, where I've worked for almost 20 years. I see art skills as important for building collaboration, connection, and care as we navigate the change that is upon us, but also the change that is necessary in the world we want to live in. So we're coming close, very close to the Q&A time. And I'm going to start it off with ideas for how I can support Lily's work, and maybe how you can support Lily's work as well. And Lily, you mentioned some of the ideas that I was going to suggest at the beginning, but I'm just going to say it again. So I'm going to read these as I statements, but you can also think of them as statements or ideas for yourself as well. So I can introduce Lily's work to colleagues, especially those who work in higher education institutes. I can ask Lily to please write a shorter summary of the highlights. It's 150 pages of the book that I can share with those who may be interested. Maybe 2 pages. I can ask the question, who is having this conversation in Canada? How does Lily's work open the door to that conversation? I can encourage educators as a parent. I'm a parent, to integrate soft skills in the arts into curriculum. I can keep the conversation going by introducing Lily to those who may be interested. And I can congratulate Lily and encourage her to do a PhD in education and arts to continue this research at work. So those are my ideas, and yeah, I'll hand it over to Lily.
Thank you, Lily. Well, the summary is on the website. For getting the book, you can check the summary. On my website, there are the 2 versions, Spanish and English. And yeah, thank you for the idea of PhD education. I don't know if that idea will match with my husband, but I will think about it. Yeah, actually, it's something that they proposed when I published. A good research will be continuation of research on the same students, how they are developing these skills now in their work area. Because now these students, those students, they have been working at least 5 years no? So that would be a good research. Anyways, so going to the Q&A, is there any question or any comment that could be here in people in the studio or online? Maybe there's online questions, I don't know. Yes.
I have a question. Hi, my name is Sigie. Been in Calgary for 5 years now. From Mexico originally as well. So I'm an industrial designer, and then did a master's here in urban planning. So a lot of what you spoke about speaks a lot to me. Like come from the creative side, and then into the more like managerial, business-focused part. My question is something that I've experienced is that the culture of work is very different from the Latin American, specifically Mexican, culture of work to an Anglo, specifically Western Canadian culture of work. So this idea of the soft skills and using creativity and arts in a business sense, did you notice any difference? Have you done any research around that cultural nuance of how we actually interact creatively in a business setting?
We as Latin Americans here in Canada? Or
As humans, like as creative humans, as more of a creative background in that more operational business work.
well, yeah, like what I say in the book is these skills, the soft skills. There are many soft skills, but Project Abaco focuses in 4, and they can be present in many disciplines, in many areas, no matter what. In like even medicine, even in communication, even accountancy, no, architecture. So yeah, indeed, they can be present in other areas, and also maybe Geraldine, you can answer him as well about your research that you did with business culture. So
Yeah, so the program where business and arts, so I was working as arts leadership director of the Rosé Foundation, and then in partnership with the Haskell School of Business to offer arts management programs. And when I arrived, it was offered from just business faculty. And I thought, oh, that's only one perspective, though, on arts management. We also need the perspective of artists and artist leaders as well. So that was one aspect, was bringing those two perspectives together, but then also just how we're approaching business from an arts lens is it's different. But what I noticed is that the business faculty enjoyed the perspective of these artists and arts managers so much, because there's so much passion coming from artists and arts managers. There's intention, there's values, and that's missing. So how do you reconcile that? Like, it would be wonderful to bring more of this, more of those, that like art perspective into business, so that there's a conversation between both art and business. Yeah.
yeah, it's not against art. It's not against business, and vice versa. No, artists also, we need to learn about business and the same all the way around. No. Yeah. Alisa, do you have any other comment about this question?
I'm having a hard time hearing consistently, so I don't want to add something that's already been said, but thank you for checking.
Okay, thank you, Alisa. Is someone else with a question?
I would like.
But I think the mic goes.
Mine is not a question. It's more like adding to what you were saying, and from my experience also as a Mexican and coming from fine arts studies back in Latin America and living in Canada for 15 years, and seeing how business and everyday work functions in this country. I think it would be very interesting to introduce all these that it's in your book to the secretary, like the affairs, how do you call it? La Secretaría de Education Affairs.
Ministry of Education.
Yeah, Ministry of Education. I don't know if it can be federal or provincial or, and also into businesses, going into like with companies and enterprises to introduce this program to them. Because when in my university, we had to take all these artistic classes throughout our all 5 years of career. And my classmates were engineers, they were lawyers, so not only in the fine arts education. And I think it's very important because it helps you, like you say, develop how you interact with people in your career field and of course in society. So yeah, maybe a way or connections to talk to these people in the enterprise or education.
Thank you.
My question is more geared towards early education. How can we incorporate these findings with our children so that they can start developing soft skills since, from the beginning?
I think Alisa is the most
It's funny because I was thinking, the answer to that question, how do you integrate this into work with the very young? And to be clear, the very young is not my demographic generally, but we actually could take a lesson from them because you may they play all the time. They're always imagining, they're always thinking creatively because no one has taught them not to yet. I taught middle school, junior high in New York for 15 years, and the difference between how a sixth grader or grade 6 student would approach creative work and a grade 8 student would approach creative work was so drastic. So thinking about how the young people are already doing it, so you're actually looking at how are you bringing all of that and there's a word I can't think of right now, but like concretizing, which is not quite the word I'm looking for, codifying, that's the word. How do you codify what you're already doing and make it part of routine, curriculum, instruction, so that it's not an accident, it's intentional. That's kind of what I would say to that.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree. We need to learn from them.
So how do we keep them from? So how do we keep them just continue to do that? Like, is there anything?
Keep building. Yeah, I love that question. It's the heart of the work I'm trying to do in Calgary myself, which is continue to center the arts in the classrooms. Make the arts central to classroom routines. Instead of a daily check-in with a number, show them a piece of art and say which piece of art reflects how you're feeling today. And now they're learning about artists. I recently did this with murals in Calgary so they could actually go and see the murals if they wanted to, and which one is really capturing your energy today. Bringing the arts into assessment, so instead of making everybody do the same essay of mice and men, allow students to respond in ways that inspire them. They're still hitting the same, they're still learning the same things, they're still teaching you, they're still showing you what they've learned, but maybe they're doing it through a dance or through a film. And I'm not saying that that should replace all essay writing. We all need to know how to write an essay. But we don't need to write only essays. There's all of these ways, and it's this integration of the arts and the centering of it that will continue to inspire, engage, and give kids permission to think creatively. Because we strip them of that with standardized testing, with memorization, with rote, with all of those things.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, so time is almost gone. Is there any comment or last question that you can say? Nothing? Online, how is online? Well, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your presence, for being here, for your time. Thank you, people online that are there connected. Thank you, Ana and Mao, for all your support. Thank you, Casa Mexico. The book, you can find it for both versions in my website, lilysigie.com. In the book part, there is the summary, and both Spanish and English. For $20 as a donation, or more if you want, but minimum $20. And well, okay. So Alisa, thank you so much for your time. I know that you couldn't be here in presence, but you are online. We're using the technology to make it happen. Thank you, Geraldine, and thank you both really for your time of reading the book and doing the comments. I have a little present for both of you, Alisa. I will send it some way or sometime. Let me tell you that I haven't met Alisa in person. We have just met in email. So yeah, I'm really honored because she doesn't know me yet. Well, now she knows me, but we haven't met in person. And Geraldine, well, she just said it. No, we have sometime meeting us, knowing us, and we're good friends. And thank you guys. That's it, I guess. Yeah, and people who are here, people online, thank you very much. Follow me, Instagram, YouTube. I'm there, put your comments, take like, put like. And people here, I have just some refreshments outside, so we can keep going with the conversation. And that's it for all. I don't know if Miguel, you want to say something, maybe to close and to announce another event?
Well, thank you very much everybody for being here, and well, we are very proud to support all these events, promote the best of us. If you have a project, some idea, this space is welcome to you. And we are planning a children's festival. It's a very, very important project that we are going to start. It's going to be May 18th. And so far we have great response from sponsors, from artists, and we want an event that is for kids. If you have an idea, still we have time to put an idea. But we want the kids to be the center of the event. So they are going to be the main actors, the main audience. And you can collaborate. You are welcome to send us an email at info@casamexico.ca. That's all. Thank you.
That's for the April 30th.
No, May 18th. The Mexico is April 30th. Here is May 18th.
Okay.
See you soon. Tomorrow we have a presentation. You want to come? 7 p.m. Upstairs. We are supporting Colores del Alma. There is the LGTB community group here in our city, and they are going to launch their new organization. Casa Mexico is very proud of supporting the LGTB community. Tomorrow you are welcome to come 7 p.m. It is going to be a great presentation. So, gracias.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Enjoy your reception.
Thank you. Stay well and enjoy Vancouver.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. We'll connect in person when in the next